Well, there are other reasons to be concerned about new decisions being made in the name of cybersecurity. While they might be beneficial to the government and private industry, they often come at the expense of individuals' rights. And we have a few specific examples to tell you about. To help me do that, I'm joined by RT web producer Andrew Blake. Andrew, I do want to start with the case of Andrew Auernheimer. He was convicted earlier this week
on Tuesday over in Newark.
On Tuesday of trying to steal more than 120,000 users, email users who just purchased iPads. He was convicted of illegally gaining access to AT&T servers, charged with conspiracy to access a computer without authorization and fraud. This case is not very simple, though. There's a whole lot of holes that I want you to fill in for us.
Well, there's a whole lot of holes that someone really needs to fill in, because it seems like the Justice Department kind of screwed up when they were figuring out how to do this. It goes back to 2010 when Andrew Auernheimer and a group called Goatse Security, they discovered that there was pretty much just a huge security flaw with AT&T's servers. And the serial numbers belonging to all new iPads were linked to profiles that were hosted openly on the internet, not password protected, not encrypted. If you knew where to look, you could find them. And instead of calling up AT&T and telling him, or telling AT&T this is what's up, Auernheimer went to the press and revealed, okay, look, there's a huge security breach, and thousands of customers can easily be targeted because of this.
But he didn't break into any security on AT&T's website. He didn't do anything. He just sort of exposed what he found and what he thought a lot of other people could find.
I mean, to simplify it, it's more or less finding himself in the right place at the wrong time. He discovered on the internet that you can access all this information without having any sort of special credentials. It was pretty much just going into an address bar and typing a website. It's as simple as that, and finding something that's just sitting there on the internet. Now, a lot of stuff gets put on the internet that people might not necessarily want to find. Like, you might have like compromising pictures or old high school poetry or something that you don't want to end up on there. But that's why you have to protect things. In the case of AT&T, they took thousands and thousands of their customers and left their data sitting there unencrypted, waiting for someone like Auernheimer to come along and say, hi, there's a problem here. Now, he never hacked anything. He was just smart enough to find out what was going on. But because these laws aren't quite defined yet, when they took him to a court in New Jersey last week and they tried to charge him for this, the jury only took around an hour to convict him on a couple of charges, and now he's looking at prison. So his attorney does plan on appealing, but it shows us that you can pretty much just do anything, and if a prosecutor tells the court one thing and can convince it the other way, that no one's really safe right now, things like this.
I think you make a really, really good point when it comes to laws and the internet. There are a whole lot of things that just aren't defined, that you can't refer to the legal, or the case that took place a few years ago to try to solve this one. Talk a little bit about the precedent that this case could set for years to come.
An incredibly damaging one, actually. If this case isn't appealed properly and it stays as it is, it right now means that anyone who has anything on the internet, ever, on any sort of accessible network, can take someone else to court just for finding it. If you don't take your own precautions to ensure things are protected securely, they are open there for everyone. That's why people don't give out passwords. But with AT&T, nothing was password protected. It was just sitting there waiting for it. And Auernheimer made a really good point when he was on trial. He said that any computer in this instance is a protected computer. The internet itself is a publishing platform, and you don't have to call up Google every time you want to use Google. You just go on to Google and you type something. So hopefully, I mean, for the sake of ourselves who use computers daily, this will be reanalyzed in another court, retried, and hopefully the precedent that was set this week in Newark will not stand.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to talk about someone else now. Jeremy Hammond, he's been behind bars for nearly 8 months. He's accused of being a member of Lulzsec and part of the group that hacked into that private intelligence firm Stratfor. A whole lot going on here. He was denied bail. Talk a little bit about some of the other things we're learning about this case.
Okay, well, yeah, like you said.
A few important things.
Yeah, it's really important. Hammond himself was in court in New York this week, and there was no conviction. There was, like you said, it's been 8 months, and there hasn't been a trial yet. He was hopefully going to be released on house arrest so that he can kind of, get himself together before he goes into court for this. And a judge went and said, no, you can't get bail because you're a dangerous person. If we let you out, you're going to sneak out of your apartment. You're going to go to a coffee shop. You're going to go onto a computer, and you're going to steal credit card numbers again. And you are pretty much a domestic terrorist. So they had to stop him and say, look, sorry, not only can't you get bail, but we're also thinking about putting you in prison for life. And one really interesting thing here was that Hammond, he could be the very first American citizen charged with a crime relating to WikiLeaks, because we know that when Lulzsec took those files, provided them to Julian Assange, and then from there, things kind of steamrolled. So it's a really interesting case here because not only are we seeing that, you know, alleged computer criminals can be put away for a really long time, but the government can easily be using this case to set an example for anyone else who dare do something that the government might not like on a protected network.
Well, the other thing, too, that I think you didn't mention is that the judge in this case is related to someone who actually was a client of Stratfor.
Yes. Thank you. It's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, the judge who is presiding over this case in New York District Court, her husband was one of the couple thousand of clients of Stratfor who subscribed to their email updates. You pay some like $25 a month, and you can get intelligence from this, you know, so-called global intelligence company sent to your inbox. Well, the judge's husband was one of a few thousand people whose identities were compromised in this attack. Stratfor already filed, they already came to a settlement with a class action lawsuit, and we believe now that the judge's husband actually received that settlement because he was impacted by the hack. So there's calls now from members of Anonymous and members of the Jeremy Hammond Solidarity Network to try to bring this up into the media, which is something we're doing right now, so that, you know, we realize, oh, maybe a judge
someone with personal interest in the case shouldn't perhaps be sitting on the bench that judges it.
Yeah, and telling a 28-year-old guy, hi, by the way, you can't be released on bail, and then we could put you away for life.
And didn't you tell me earlier, Andrew, that this judge actually said he was as dangerous as a sexual predator?
Oh, yeah, because he can use programs like Tor, the Onion Router, which allows people to cover up their footprints when they do things online. A lot of people use Tor so that they can protect their identity when they're talking to sources or perhaps, you know, sharing information online. In his case, they believe that he used it when he was helping out to hack Stratfor and distribute those files among members of Lulzsec, but because sexual predators can also use Tor, he's just as dangerous as them, and so now he's going to be denied bail.
Just last question, Andrew. I mean, bigger picture, you know, we sort of started off this segment talking about why this wasn't necessarily a great week for tech.
It was a terrible week.
Yeah, and not so much for tech, but for people who use technology, for people who have made it a part of their lives, and for privacy rights. I mean, is there light at the end of the tunnel here? I
mean, we can hope. Like, what really we've been seeing for the last couple of months, there's so many efforts on a congressional level to try to pass cybersecurity legislation, and we already know that Congress is having a hell of a hard time on their part trying to do that. So ideally, we can rely on the court system to take care of these little discrepancies, but it looks like we really can't right now. But hopefully, these cases are getting the media attention slowly but surely that are necessary so that people will start voicing their opposition. Like, remember what happened with SOPA and PIPA, even the NDAA, when there was these things that started, they seemed like fringe topics to begin with, but when people realized, oh, okay, SOPA, if that passes, I can't do this on the internet.
Right. That's when they started getting in touch with their lawmakers who then decided, oh, wait, maybe I shouldn't vote for this piece of legislation.
So, whereas Hammond may have actually committed a crime that's on the books, life imprisonment for a victimless crime, excuse me, seems a bit harsh. And with Auernheimer, like, for all intents and purposes, I think a lot of people would go ahead and say that he never actually committed a crime.
All right. Certainly very interesting stuff here. RT Web producer Andrew Blake, thanks as always.
Of course. Thank you.